What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Lou Alejandro. Welcome to another episode, but it's actually a special episode because it's not just the tax collectors here, but it's another podcast girls with us doing this. Give it up for It's Just Complicated, everybody.
Welcome in the building. Welcome.
You know, we're excited. Like, hey guys, with the intermission, now we're back peacefully, ready for...
But I think with just spirituality and religion and politics, I think that how do I explain it?
It's
I feel
tough because everyone has their opinions.
Well, it's tough. It's tough because what happens is, I think we get super emotional, right? We're talking about core beliefs.
Yeah,
we're talking about some stuff that we sit on and our foundation, in a sense, how we make decisions.
Because how about like even like when it comes to like this, like when I got into like therapy, right? And like obviously some people like specialize in different kind of therapeutic, you know, and like even the idea of like hypnosis and like that kind of you going into like even like I started putting like I used to always be skeptical about like when we talk about like church and stuff, like the slaying of the spirit, right? Like that would always be like this big like mystery for me, like because I've one time I experienced it. I used to play keyboard, so like many times I would be there on the keyboard while like pastors lay everyone out. And one time it's happened to me twice where I'm like, dude, I really got laid out, like. But when I start going into like not practicing it, but studying the hypnosis and what it is and kind of in that therapeutic world, I'm like, dude, there's a lot of similarities and like what's happening there and what's happening like when you get hypnotized. Because so what is like so if you're doing hypnosis, are you not?
So all I know is that one time I'm in church and I was so there was a time in my life where I went to missionary school. Believe it or not, I was in California. And we would do services, church services almost daily. So that Sunday I was tired, real tired. I was really tired. And we were in the front, like in the altar or whatever. So in my mind, I'm already like, the pastor's already laying hands. I'm already like, listen, man. I told my boy, I was like, listen, I'm going to lay it out, man, because I need to take a nap. So the pastor came and as soon as I was like, I'm out. And I just fell on the floor and I was like, here goes my nap, man. Because it was like a big service.
But then there's one time he got laid out, bro, and he stood on the floor for like 45 minutes and he could not get up. He could not get up, bro. And this is, it's funny because
you remember that?
After the service was done, like, when they do like a happy song at the end,
I was
a happy song at the end. Todo el mundo, gracias por venir.
I couldn't get up.
Everyone started fellowwishing after. You fellowship after church. You talk, and he still laid out, bro.
Were you awake though?
I was awake, but I remember that I was in this. I don't know what you call it, but I was in this
trance.
Trance. Like I felt like it was just such a trance.
But how do you explain what happened to you though? Because was it a real thing that you?
I really believe it was a real thing. I personally believe it was a real thing. I was in this
real, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I was in this trance where like you feel like if I'm like float like in a cloud.
You're just so light. So and you don't feel anything.
Though, isn't it?
It's so peaceful. It's so peaceful.
It's
like all those emotions that you're feeling in that moment.
White is all I saw.
It's just you don't care who's around you. You don't feel who's around you. You just
No, it doesn't matter what's around.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Pause. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to.
No, go ahead.
Okay, and I don't want to compare 1 to 2 because this isn't a comparison thing. To me, it's not. But that's basically what that connection is in yoga.
A spiritual one, right?
But you're not purposely.
Would you say it's a spiritual one then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think so.
So therefore,
you're purposely connecting. You're
you
there,
in
and
yoga?
the Holy Spirit. No, in church, the Holy Spirit touches you. You're not looking for it.
But you're low key are. You low key are.
You can't.
You usually are.
Yeah, it's expect.
Yoga's similar, you said.
But yoga's
what she's saying is how you're we're explaining it.
Yeah. So basically, there's 8 limbs, and
yeah.
I have a hard time with this conversation because I'm just recently actually taught. I just studied this last year, so I just recently learned. And then I had a conversation with Dunn the other day, and she's very like a whole view of it that it almost triggers me that I'm like I don't see it like that. And the fact that you do makes me feel really insecure about how I see it because like I'm like, oh my God, is it like that? Like it's just I'm in a space of kind of like But from what I know and from what I studied, yoga has 8 limbs. There's the first 2, which is basically the core values: don't lie, and yamas and niyamas, and it basically just means be good to others. It's relationship with yourself and relationships with others. Those are the first 2 limbs of yoga. The second one, the third one, and I wish I'm gonna get it off because I have it, it's memorization. But third one is I forget. Fourth one is asana, which is the movement of yoga. So basically the stretches that we do in America, that's like, oh, let's go do yoga. Yeah. We're going to go stretch and get a great workout in. Yeah, you're moving your body, you're stretching your body. But the purpose of that is really to be able to sit in meditation. So the fifth one is meditation. And meditation. And in order for you to sit for an hour, some people meditate for an hour, some people meditate for 3 hours. Your body needs to be comfortable enough for that. So it needs to be relaxed. It needs to be, comfortable. You can't be like anxious or like tight. You have to be nice. And so that's the fifth one. And then the sixth, seventh, and eighth is basically, so the sixth is quieting of, is breathing. The seventh is quieting of the mind. And then the eighth is basically that connection, because now you're so in yourself that you're able to kind of just be with the higher power, which to me is God. Oneness. Yeah. And to me, that's God. And I'm not like sitting here looking for different spirits of the world, which was what I understood you think of it as. But it's just that, like, I'm reaching my higher power through silence and through stillness and through quietness of everything around me. It's still, I'm just here with myself and God. And now we can.
Can I ask a question towards that?
Sure.
For the person started today, yoga, how long is it expected for them to hit level 8, 6, 7, 8?
It's a practice. So, I mean, I wouldn't even say I've reached it. So, and I've been practicing yoga since I was in college. It's discipline. It's
Do you gotta sit in like an Indian style? Because if that, then I can do yoga.
No, you can sit in a chair. Sit in a chair.
Okay.
But really, guys, honestly, for me,
I get. Okay, so I get what it means to her. I've done her yoga classes. The only thing that I am opposed to is when there's the part of like the connection with the third eye. I don't remember exactly the wording that you guys use. That to me, I won't do it.
But what is that? What is that?
Because I don't know what the third eye is, and I don't know what I'm connecting to.
Is it like oneness to
your pineal gland?
Right, it's your pineal gland. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So to me, I don't have anything against yoga, like the exercise, the within yourself, the connecting to God, because I do think that when you are connecting to God, you should be in silence. You should be within yourself and connecting with your thoughts. To me, it's like, and it's not just yoga, it's anything around that I don't know what is on the other side. What am I connecting to? I'm not opening those doors.
Yeah.
So that's what it's for me.
And that, go ahead.
When I went to yoga with Fernanda, the instructor was like, she was doing the humming and then there was like some words that she said and then connect. I was like, oh hell, I just sat
because
there
you don't know what the words mean.
I was like,
wait, what the words? When you say words, they were like a prayer out loud prayer in a sense.
There was something that she was doing, and I was like, this shit is spiritual. I'm not opening up that spiritual door because I know that I am not in with God, and I know that right now, if something that I don't even know who to
check it out. Yo, but check this out. Over time, yoga has evolved. This is since the 1500s over a complex system of physical, mental, and spiritual practices that were passed down over time.
Yeah. Okay.
So there is a spiritual aspect to it.
There is.
So I understand the fear of, someone that would say, talking about opening doors, because one thing we are is physical beings with a spirit, right? With a spirit. So there is some form of being able to tap into something we call the spiritual world. And what I believe and how the Bible preaches is that you could tap into the spiritual world, but you either can do it through the back door or with the Holy Spirit through the front door. And the back door usually consists of seance, spells, other forms of meditation, candlelight. There's these sacrifices to enter into the spiritual realm. Or the way the Christian believes is that you get the Holy Spirit. And that's why we are able, when you fall out, you feel this peace. You don't have to do this, and that to feel this peace that you have to continue to do.
But you do have to do this, and that in Christianity.
No, that's the best part about it. All you got to do is accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and then if you can, get baptized.
Okay.
But from a neutral standpoint, though,
there's
in terms
so
of
many
like,
rules.
What are you
What's the skirts about for Pentecostal?
That's
Well, that's the religion.
That's-
that's
right.
That's in
religion.
that religion, right? There's a term for it. Every church has their expectation, right? So like
Yeah.
Right.
in Pentecostal, you're wearing skirts. Like that's what, if you choose to go to a Pentecostal church and you choose to be a member, and this is what I was talking to you guys about yesterday, then you chose to follow those rules.
Yeah.
If you go to a more modern church,
Yep.
and I mean, there's people with ripped jeans up front,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the
yeah.
low
thongs and all
V-necks.
those-
Yeah, and that's what you
Just like
that's
us.
what
Yeah,
you're
just like us.
allowed
Right.
to wear up front. And so if you and this is where I feel where the backlash is like very unnecessary. If you don't like the way a church runs,
Go to another
then
one.
Find
go to
another one.
one.
That's
And
real.
that's totally fine. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't go to a Pentecostal church
That's real.
with a mini
Honestly.
skirt on and
Yep.
be like, oh, they didn't accept me there.
Yep.
Well,
Well, you can't go to a funeral with a mini skirt
Yeah.
on without
And
the
that was-
eye, the side eye, you know?
or like, you
Right,
know,
right,
It's just not proper gear.
Right.
Or
Even
like
in,
a
even in the
Roman
Catholic
Catholic
Church,
church.
we're
Yeah.
supposed to be using
covered
covered
jeans,
right,
Even-
or
we're supposed to be
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
covered shirts that you're
if you are a member, you chose to follow what they expect in that
Yeah.
that well,
See, what
also
happens
for sure.
is as human beings,
we're
right?
around town.
We're humans
Yeah.
and we automatically know somehow, some way, shape, or form that we shouldn't kill each other, right? It's just common, right?
Right.
But then it comes down to the point where it was like now we have no rules, but we at least have this one rule that we know we shouldn't kill, still hurt each other. And then we start, as time goes on, we all have kids and we're now the third generation here. We all set rules for our kids. And though they set rules for their kids and the rules kept on setting down, that's what happened with the church. Back in the day, there would be Old Testament was a lot of rules. Why? Because every time God tried, they would do something stupid, you know? Every
Right,
time
right.
God would show his power and his glory, we humans would mess it up. That's the
Yeah.
Old Testament. And then we learned that there's nothing we humans could do for our salvation. Then God comes down to earth, dies on the cross so that we don't have to work our way into heaven. All we have to do is believe, which is the good
That's
news,
it.
right? Because usually every religion, everywhere you go, anything you do, they say you have to earn, you have to do. This is what you do so that you can get. While the Bible
Like a
of
marriage- like a
Jesus
marriage
doesn't,
system.
that's not how it is with Jesus.
It's like a marriage system.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
a
to do this.
complete marriage. It's I completely love you no matter what you do. And that's the best part of like, and that's why back to yoga, because even though we can talk
So
about
you don't-
Jesus
you-
forever,
So you don't know.
Yeah.
So where do you put hypnosis?
hypnosis.
Where do you do? What do you,
back
where,
door.
where do you put like hypnosis?
Well, hypnosis. Remember, hypnosis.
Somebody has a lot of trauma. Somebody has a lot of trauma. They can't surpass the trauma, and they
Is
go
that
to
the
some.
spiritual?
No, but we're fit. I was gonna say we're
Yeah, because
physical,
you're-
Right.
we're mental, and we're spiritual.
Yeah,
right?
we are definitely spiritual.
So we got
parts of
three
it.
things. You're talking
Yeah.
about the mental.
You
You're
think
talking
it's
about the
just
mental?
mental?
No, I don't
No,
think
sometimes I
this
think
is
people are
mental.
possessed.
I don't
I
think
really
this is
think
mental
it's
for
spiritual is
sure.
possession. I really do believe
What I'm
that still exists.
hypnotizing. Are you not opening
Oof.
a wide door?
A huge wide door.
Right.
Yeah.
You're opening a huge
Well,
wide door.
I
for that.
don't know. I can't lie. I don't know a lot about hypnosis.
You're
Why don't you
opening a
educate
portal.
us?
It also you're opening on the portal, but it also comes from who's entering that portal.
Who's
in a
entering the?
sense.
That's my point
Who's
with,
entering
with
that
it.
portal? But like usually with hypnosis, they're entering with a mindset of helping your
But
trauma.
what's happening
of,
to the
like,
brain
helping,
during
like, your-
hypnosis? Do you know? Like, do you have an idea?
What's happening to the brain?
Yeah.
Like
Because
a
hypnosis is usually
Yeah,
something
no,
has to
you're-
take place for
No,
you to
you're in a-
actually be
you're in a
hypnotized.
you're in a state of just standstill.
Or the brain's probably thinking like, what? The
I don't know what's
fuck's
happening to
going
the
on?
brain, but to the body, to your emotions, and the actual brain, something's being
Something,
you're
yeah,
being
yeah, yeah,
controlled.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
right?
know
So-
much about hypnosis.
So usually they do hypnosis and they start doing like a lot of like eye wrap and movement therapy when
Mhm.
you're in a state of hypnosis, because they say that that helps a lot with trauma. There's a lot of people that's been traumatized, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and all this stuff, and they can't get over that trauma, right? And so they start using this therapy, and it says it's been really effective.
Yeah,
But like you said, who's on the other side of that too, though? Like,
But
because
what are they? Are they going back to that moment of
they're
the
going
abuse?
back to that moment,
So they're essentially
reliving
that
whole
moment.
Yeah, it's like a
moment.
flooding
correctly,
therapy.
because
Huh?
if it's hypnosis is not done correctly,
Oh
then
no! If it's,
you
yeah, so
are-
that's a delicate part of hypnosis, and I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I'm not into that. But
It's
I know
like a
in my
mental
field,
disorder,
it's been
though,
like,
thing, like-
Can it get to the point where somebody won't come back from it?
Great question.
I think hypnosis.
Can somebody come back
That's a
from
good
it
point.
though? Is there a place where it's
No,
like I'm in a
once-
sunken place?
I think they could get like like a sunken place.
Yeah.
I would believe so, of course, man.
It's just like I like it's going into like drugs, for example.
I was
Some
just
people
gonna say that.
Something about drugs.
Some
Yep.
people don't come
They don't
back
come back.
from a high,
trip.
from the
Yep,
trip,
yep.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
I
we've
feel like
true.
hypnosis is kind
we've
of like a
accelerated there.
drug,
We've
right?
experienced that too. Going into
We have.
one time in Colombia,
For sure.
some
We
dude,
have. I have.
some dude was we were in like this like we went to a
We were in a
vacation.
phase in our lives.
And we did a lot of tech. We were into tech house, right? A place a few years ago. We were like very into tech
And-
house.
yeah,
You know, the
into
tech
the
house.
whole
we were like,
trance.
You know, that's a lot
I
of
was
like.
a raver back then.
No,
Oh, and so-
we
That was
were,
my
I remember
jam.
we were
There
big
was
timers.
there was a group of friends that started doing. Like, this one dude that started doing like LSD and like all these more like not no like these psychedelics, right?
Psychedelics.
Psychedelics
Right.
and like and so he went on a whole trip. Like I mean, like dude, his like possessed. His eyes got all like you could tell like
Oh,
there was
yeah.
something crazy demonic with him. And he came back from that trip and he was never the same.
He's never the same.
He went.
No,
He went to the psych ward a few times. He had thoughts of killing his mom. He just went into the state, man, where he can never.
Well, that's
He
Yeah,
didn't
that's
come
brother
back from
says
it.
when you don't do it correctly in
Yeah.
the right place
Yeah.
either with the
Right.
right people,
exactly.
it
Yeah, but isn't
Yeah.
that genetics too, though? Wouldn't it be genetics? Because I heard even the same
You can
case with
open.
marijuana,
I-
where certain people
I
that
think-
smoke marijuana
Yeah.
and it triggers something that's
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
genetic.
yeah.
That's it's
That's
a
I
hidden
agree.
thing in your
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I agree.
The drug
I agree
basically,
with that too.
Yep.
the drug basically
Yep.
opens that little door,
I agree
and
with
then
that.
you can't shut it off. That's it. Like now you're into this.
But there's some
cycle.
people that are more.
agree with that.
What's
like,
that word?
like we have,
like,
we have one of our good boys that
did
we
marijuana.
remember a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah, I
we
remember.
smoked marijuana, and
But-
he called it opened up something
portal, and I was.
that.
But
like,
there's
I
some people
was-
that are more subjected to those kind of to like. There's some people that are more. I feel like for example, like what do you feel about all those people that they start seeing something in these haunted houses, like they start living and like they start seeing demonic
Yeah.
things.
But
They
there's a
start seeing-
reaction.
and like
Yeah.
other people don't see it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's some people that are just subjected to those portals. Like they're just called to see those things.
Yeah, well, I
like,
believe that too.
for
We're talking about
sure.
seeing the
gifts.
spiritual world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I am someone that I'm
gifts.
like, no, thank you.
Oh,
like
for
I
sure.
don't want to
Hell
see
no.
it. I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
I don't like. I'd probably die if something showed up. I don't want to experience
So-
that. Neither, even if it's good. Because some people say like, oh,
Yeah.
like my grandmother when she went to pass away, she came to see me.
So
Like I don't want to see that. Like I
So
don't
I-
like. Yeah, because my dad when
Yeah.
his grandmother passed, he was here in the U.S.
Mhm.
She was in Brazil. The night she passed, he said that he had a dream.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know she had passed yet. He had a dream that she was standing at his door and she was having a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with him. And it was like very quick. He said it was like for him it felt like minutes, but it was like seconds. And then the next morning my mom calls him because we were in Brazil
Mm-hmm.
already. And she's like, hey,
wow.
grandma passed away. So
Yeah,
she came
yeah,
to say
yeah, yeah.
her goodbyes. Right. Because it's like
Mhm.
it's for him it's a positive thing. But in the negative way, it's like, I don't know, like when people die in a house, for example,
Yeah.
right? And you're living there. I don't want to see
It's
that
fucking
motherfucker.
scary though. Like
I don't even think that's the
I've
same
never
thing.
seen the lady that died at my house, and I've lived.
Somebody who
there
died
for
at your house,
20 years.
and I've been hanging out
Wait,
with
what?
them.
The wife passed away.
Bitch, I've been
They
going
were
to the bathroom by
old. They were
myself at your
old.
house.
And see,
No, like-
blessed house. They're-
What?
Michelle, what's your belief though? Do you what's your belief in the spiritual world? Like, do you feel like do we like have unfinished business? Can we linger around as ghosts? Do you feel like we go into a deep sleep, or do you feel like we go straight to heaven, or you know what I mean, or hell?
I'd like to believe that there's only two options. Either you go to heaven or you go to hell. Whenever your time is done here, it's done.
I was gonna say though, you say the lady didn't show up, right? But
nothing.
No, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying,
You're like,
but her death was probably very peaceful. She was ready to go. She was
So
ready
you
to let
believe in
go.
lingering
Blood
spirit?
house,
You think a ghost would linger around?
Why do other people see that shit? Like I don't
Oh,
want
that's
to
a great
believe in
question.
it,
I
right?
think
But
that's
why
a
do
great
people see
question.
it? Because what I've heard is that the reason why people see it is because those people
Have unfinished-
weren't ready, had unfinished business, were
Right,
ready
right,
to let
right.
go, so they're tormented in that.
Didn't we talk
in
about
this,
this
like,
with
weird
with the right here in our city, Lindley Street in Bridgeport?
the
With
house, right?
Yeah.
The haunted house.
Or it could be just people like opening up these
That's true.
doors
Exactly.
from, because people in hell, like, they just live there burning.
Or
Like they just open up these doors and you know, they bring these people out too. It's not even like they never left the earth. It could be that something was brought out. And so the reason I think the spiritual world,
because you don't know who's hanging out
right,
there.
and that's where I think the spiritual world is very delicate, and like you have to be, if you don't understand the spiritual, like okay, I go to church, okay, you don't know shit.
Even
First of all,
let me say
if
this,
you're not educated enough, I think that's very like if you begin to understand the spiritual, you will understand that this is very delicate, and it's easy to get in and hard to get out.
Right.
And so you don't want to play with that.
So let me say this. So we grew up like in church, right? I grew up. There was a time in my life where I was really in like the exorcism world, right? Like just I was really in like
you were in to know about it, or you went?
I was in it, involved in the exorcism world. Just I was a missionary in California, and I got to see some stuff.
You weren't scared that shit was gonna grab to you?
Nah, because at that point I was so like involved with Jesus, with God, that I felt like this power. Every time I would sense that there was a demonic presence, this power would just grip me. That I would say I know who I'm representing. You know what I'm saying? It was my I had definitely a lot of situations in that whole world. So, but then after I left church, then after I left, whatever. So then I got into this phase in my life, actually during the pandemic, where I started doing psychedelics. You know, I really started doing psychedelics, and now psychedelics is a whole different world, a spiritual world. You know, and the whole techno thing that we started doing, like in Colombia, with like
it opens up some stuff, bro.
With different substances that we were starting to take. It opened up my mind to portals, and because I already was in the spiritual world, I recognized where I was. And in the spiritual world, it was a different phase of spirituality where I was like, where I started saying to myself, like, wow, the spiritual world is so real. So there was moments in my life where I wasn't really tripping, but I mean, I was, but where I would really hear, like, I would definitely see some things, you know, like hallucinate some stuff. So for example, like that guy he was talking about, we were actually in an island together in Colombia, an island. And that island was a spiritual island. Yeah. And I started recognizing that the islanders started praying against us.
Because we were not respecting the island. We were partying till 6 in the morning, and they'll be like, yo, like lower the music, or like, and it'll be like 30 people just partying and doing drugs and making a scene and making a show in this island where it's like
they were like voodoo, like
island.
It was very, and I can recognize. So, but what I did even beforehand, I had a good friend from the island, so we stayed at the grandmother's house. I didn't even know the grandma was a Christian, but I can tell that she sort of like was protecting us spiritually. So when that happened, that it was a spooky situation where that friend, like, he took some LSD.
We weren't there the first night. We weren't there when it all
something happened the first night, because it was 30 of us. A lot of them from Colombia. It was him and I. Yeah. But they were spooked out. So when the next day when we went in there, I was like, yo, there's a presence.
Yeah,
there. I felt it, you know. So that night, some girl really legit, was like possessed. Yeah. Like we saw it, like manifesting, and we can tell. Yeah. And so when I saw that, I quickly said in my mind, I'm like, yo, I know what to do here, but I didn't do it. Yeah. I told him, I was like, bro, don't even entertain it. Yeah. Don't even step in there. Because I recognize where we were spiritually, and I was like, don't even entertain it. Like, we just ignore it.
And so then they ended up going to like the local priest from the island, right? And like the girl that was manifesting, and the dude that was causing her to manifest. Because dude, you could look at her.
It was spooky,
and I feel like, dude, if I was weak spiritually, I would have also got, because you look in his eyes, and it was the scariest thing, bro. But even like he started saying stuff like, even walking, he started saying stuff like that, like demonic stuff. And I, me and my brother,
the priest started praying over him, and he started mocking the priest.
And then me and my brother were like, yo, we stepped back, and we were like, yo, no, fuck that.
Even though
but not in a bad way. We were like, fuck that. We're not gonna get like involved. We were more like, this motherfucker, like talking to like the demonic spirit. Like this motherfucker ain't gonna come to us. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Like, it didn't mess with us, but we knew where our place was. And I was like, yo, this is a delicate situation. I'm not going to go up in there and say, you know, I just felt this place.
Jesus,
I just felt in this place. I'm like, yo, if it comes
especially because since you guys were
right,
taking drugs
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
of that.
Exactly.
You
Yep.
spiritually
You were already
weren't
opening
We
connected
were already open.
as-
Exactly.
Yep.
yeah.
Now,
So-
now, if it came at me, different story.
Right.
But that's what. So in the past, I had situations where if the demonic force knows you're in tune with Jesus, he will come to you. Like I had a situation where it would come to me and say, "We know you." I had that experience, but then it came at us. So I knew I was like, "Bro, we stay away from this. We're not spiritually. We just stay away from unless they come at us. I have no choice to like."
Right.
But it's real though.
Yeah, I know it's real. And I had that thing. And during that situation, I'm like, dude, I'm spiritually not where I need to be.
Right. That's
But
what we were thinking.
I'm
Rude
protected. But I'm protected
Right.
by the blood of the Lamb
Come
right
on
now.
now.
And none of this is gonna, because you could see, and then me and another girl went too, who also thought like us. And it was the boyfriend. It was this girl she was like regular girl, and she started like, imagine
she
you with your
Because she was
girlfriend.
because she
started
was weak.
manifesting.
She was-
Right,
Yeah,
because she's
because
weak.
she was-
She was the weak link
She was
there.
the weak link there, and so I'm like, yo, that's
Yo, it was
there's
weird.
some such shit that goes on in these islands and these different countries. I mean, this is way different than
Way
than
different.
the U.S. I feel
Way
like we're
different.
more
Right.
we're more protected when it comes to a lot of that stuff, man, because they be
I said
doing
more
some.
blinded.
Yeah. A lot of people say that when you go to places like this, you should ask for permission to even enter these places.
and that's sort of what we started doing,
Yeah.
me and him, because I recognized it was a spiritual thing. So I was going to the Islanders,
Yeah.
and I was like befriending them.
And they were saying, yo, you guys are good, but your friends are not. Your
Not
friends are not
welcome.
good. And I was like,
I
oh,
was
what the
recognizing
fuck
that
is going on?
because they were different. Our friends are different. They're very, because we had cousins in Colombia, but they're like techno-ish, like different vibes,
Yeah.
different energy.
But
you
it's
know?
a beautiful island. Oh, shout out San Andres Island.
Come on now.
San Andres,
You ever heard-
baby, San Andres.
It's a beautiful island.
Yeah.
Just-
I think that like for me, I stay away because I am not
Yeah.
if that ever
Yeah.
happens to me, I'm not prepared spiritually for it. I
Fact.
do like I'm really big about like that I carry God with me, right? I have him
Mhm.
with me. Like I pray over my children. I'm very at my house. Like I had the priest come and bless the house when we
Mhm.
bought the house. I have my rosary with me, tattoos, crosses, 'cause whatever it is, stay away.
Yep, you're like in
Right.
protect-
but
yeah.
I am not that deep end to
Mhm.
think that
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
protect myself from that kind
Yeah.
of level. So I stay away from anything that I can potentially be
Yeah.
opening that door. That's just
Yeah.
where I sit.
True.
Which is where like me and her kind of got into the argument of like, because I was like, I
That's
don't
not
know what
why.
because I said I don't know what the words mean. I don't know what the third eye means.
Mm.
So I'm not going to follow something that I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But for her, it's different because she's studying it, she's figuring it out. It's a different interest. For me, I don't know enough about it, so I stay away.
Yeah. But also it's not even, I don't need you to follow it. I don't need you to do anything. It was more of the conversation we were having and your view on it. And it's like, it was just a little, it was hard for me to hear, really, just because it's like, oh, that's not how I see it, but that's how you see it.
Right.
That's all it was.
Wait, what do you mean though? Like how did she see it that you felt like it was
Because I said it was
Like-
a very for me, it feels like it's a spiritual thing, right? When I said
No,
that.
you said macumba, you said
Hakuna Matata?
voodoo, you said all
Macumba
this
is like,
What's
spiritual.
macumba?
Macumba is what the word you said that they were doing at the island.
Voodoo shit.
Voodoo.
Oh, voodoo. Oh.
No. I didn't say that yoga is macumba. I said that to me, yoga is the same thing as voodoo because I don't know it. Because I wouldn't walk in a place where they do voodoo because I don't know what it is and I don't know what they're opening.
But
To
that's
me,
right,
yoga
and I
is the same thing because I don't know.
Right.
Like I said, I don't know what the words are. I don't know what the third eye is. I don't know what the third eye is opening. Like my mind is
Right.
closed to my what
and I think even if I were to say, oh, okay, well, let me explain it to you, I think you're still gonna have that, which is fine. You don't have to change your mind. I think it's just you have this really strong view on it, and it's fine. I don't need you to I really don't. It's just when we were having that conversation, I was like, oh, that's how you see it, and I'm like, well, this is. And by the way, the third eye, it's basically your own inner guidance to. It's not to me again, but to me, it's like these are your eyes, your world eyes. You can see the the external world with these, and this is how you view the internal world and reach a higher.
Well,
God.
and I could
Which to me
I
is
could
God.
respect.
So,
I
I
could
have-
respect that to you is that,
Mhm.
but like he said, there is
yoga,
history behind
It's
it.
not created by you. It's
Right.
created by
It's created by someone else, and you don't know so you know a few years that you've been doing it, but like not enough to say for sure this is what it means. It's what you believe.
Right.
So I can believe on what you believe. That's cool. But there, like he said, like there's years of history behind it that connects to that spiritual world, which is what I am afraid of, which is what I stay away from.
Right. I think I have a hard time with religion in general. Like, I believe in God.
Yeah.
I talk to God. I pray to God. My Emily prays. We pray every night, every single night. I pray to God. And to me, yoga, it's a tool for myself, for my own body.
Yeah.
So physically, for my body, mentally, for as well. Yoga is a great tool for that, to kind of
that's what's up.
support that. Spiritually, I think I'm still working on. Where, like, for me, I haven't reached that 8th limb of yoga or anything like that. But
I
have
think
a question
that,
for you, and I have a question for you.
But whatever, I feel like spiritually we're all in a journey.
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna do this.
So whatever
No, it's true.
keeps
though.
you going
Nah,
on this journey,
Yo,
bro.
you know what I
Like-
love about my boys?
Like,
I love about my boys. You gotta understand that when it comes to confrontation or controversy,
they're like,
they're very vanilla. Like they're like, you know what? We have feeling. You're like,
I do
but
family therapy.
because I
so, you know what I'm
experienced
saying?
like all this spiritual
He
journey.
needs to see all sides.
I
He
got
needs-
it.
Oh, man.
At the end, you're gonna find yourself with in these.
No,
journeys.
but let me ask Michelle. Michelle, is there such thing as truth?
What do you mean?
But hold on, she has some
Is there
questions for us.
truth? Oh yeah.
I'm shifting. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like the truth is the truth, right? Do you believe, like, if I came to you, no matter how you feel?
There's perspectives.
No, but do you?
Their
Yeah,
own
no matter
truth.
how you
Everybody has-
I
feel.
guess you're saying
But this is
the
truth.
facts.
Yeah, this
it's not
is
even the
facts.
truth. This is what the facts.
It's the facts. It's truth. No matter what. If
Facts.
you believe in that.
You know, there is
You don't have to ask her because
the truth. I think
there's a reason. Go ahead.
There's different perspectives.
Wait, you don't believe in absolute truth?
I don't know if I'm understanding. I know. I feel like that is a term.
That's a hard
religion.
question. I answer.
There's a
Well, you have to
Is
believe
it
in
true
absolute
that
truth.
this couch is blue?
I don't. Is that absolute
yeah. Unless
truth?
you're colorblind, then
No,
it's
it's
different
like
colors.
green.
So that's
It's not
fine.
truth. It's
It's
the evidence.
blue, just a word that someone made up thousands of years ago.
No, it's
to
the
interpret
evidence.
this.
But
That's all it really
Nah.
is.
But they gave it a.
no, it's truth. At the end of the day, it's black. This is blue. You know, you can't argue with that. Yeah,
You can't though, because people see it differently.
yeah. Who?
Is it blue
So-
or azul? Is that the same thing?
Yeah,
Wait a
it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
there's the same
There's nothing they
translation.
can prove like evidence.
No, because go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead.
So okay, so like, I want to understand why you're asking that question, but because there's something that I wanted to add to this whole.
Yeah, well,
But yeah,
to the because we do believe in truth. We believe in absolute truth. How do I know that? Because one, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Right? He Toma. Yo,
He spilled better than spilling.
Right.
what I'm saying, basically what I'm saying is the truth of this all though is that we are broken into spiritual, physical, and mental. So our mental is one thing, what our brain tells us, what we tell ourselves about our body, has sometimes we can't even control our bodies, right? Right? Am I right? Sometimes we can't control our bodies. Like
Yeah, that's
it's like our brain wants to do something else, our body wants to do something else. You know what I mean? And sometimes we can't even control our brain. Am I right? Sometimes we got bad thoughts about ourselves that we don't want, and it's there. So we can't control our brain.
Yeah.
We can't control our body. And then in the spiritual realm, when you can't control it, you decide to go into
Open it.
something that's pretty much question mark. Let's put it like that. Question mark.
and so
Go ahead.
that's kind of
The truth.
something that I was gonna bring into
Yeah.
why it's important to, and I know that a lot of people have their very like different opinions on going to church. I don't need church to believe in God and to follow God and to talk to God, and I get that. But at the end of the day, the spiritual world, if you truly understand what the spiritual world is, you need to have some kind of guidance. And you know, and I have a cousin that he explores religions, and that is very, very dangerous. If like exploring the spiritual world is very dangerous because you don't have someone to help
the
guide
tools.
you through this. And so goes to my point with the yoga, right? Like understanding like if there is a true religion behind it, because again, they go into a spiritual world, that means there is some kind of religion that yoga is practiced for. But then you also are Catholic, and then you want to now understand the spiritual side of other things. And then if you don't have a core understanding of like I want to say like the spiritual world, but also like you have your home-based church of having someone with more experience as a guidance through this. It's very dangerous. Like I've mentioned before, the spiritual world is very delicate, and you'll get lost and you'll be stuck in there, and it's just a lot of information, and it's not like, you know, you're going to school to teach. Like there's a few ways of teaching, but like generally everything is pretty much the same. Like the spiritual world is very big. And so
it's very real.
I just think it's very delicate, and a lot of people think that they don't need a guidance when they're exploring this world, and it's the unknown. And when you don't have that,
very true,
you're gonna start tripping. You're gonna start, and then you're gonna
questioning yourself, questioning what you know.
Get too deep, get lost in a rabbit hole.
It's very dangerous to get too deep into this world.
Yeah.
And so I think that is where it's a little scary to hear you say that sometimes, is like, oh, I know, I believe in my God and I'm practicing yoga. And like I told you before, I don't have enough information to be like, oh, like this is exactly what they practice in this. You know what I mean? But like, I know that in church, we don't talk about no third eye. You know, like the Christians don't talk about third eye. That's not a thing. So not having a home base to guide you through something like that is very scary, knowing that, you know, the spiritual world is part of all of that. So, and my cousin, you know, I see my cousin, and like, I'm like, oh my goodness. And I see him going to church, but I also see him going to like voodoo stuff, and I see him doing psychedelics and going into the spiritual world. And he has a lot more knowledge of the spiritual world than I am. But like, I'm like, yo, bro, you're like bugging out right now. Like you come into my house talking about God and wearing some of those the necklaces, the beads. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. He said to us, like, do you guys have candles at home? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, don't light that shit up in the bathroom. I'm like, why? He was like, you should never light up a candle in the bathroom. That's all your negative energy coming off of you in the shower. It's just sitting in the bathroom. And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Damn,
you believe that?
I've never heard that before in my life.
Well, it's a thing. And I didn't know that because I don't mess with that shit. But he said that, and I was like, it's in their religion. It is a thing. Right. And in their religion, in the voodoo religion, it's for them, lighting up a candle is some kind of ritual to bring that spirit out.
And we are humans.
For me, no, I'm lighting up a candle for the freaking smell at my house, right?
Yeah. Did I never mentioned this to you guys when we first met. My ex-wife was
You never mentioned you were married.
self-proclaimed witch.
That's interesting.
Within Santeria.
You didn't stay with her? I would not break up with her. I would stay with her.
Yeah.
What? Man, I didn't
enemy with you in bed than out there.
No, that's I personally experienced. I personally experienced someone dealing with the spiritual world in this area of like, you know, just trying to get in tune with like ancestors, or in tune with like protection from certain beings or spirits, whether it be the ancestors or angels.
Okay, quick question before you continue that. The marriage was after you were already in church, because you said you grew up in church.
Of course, yeah.
So you were aware that she was
aware. You know why? Because I had...
You were in love.
No, it's not.
You were in love. You tried to change her.
I understand, like, where would you...
tried to save her.
Good idea. I'm going to sleep with her.
The whip thing. And
Did she tell
it's a genuine...
In a what's it
No, listen. I'm trying to tell you. Because if it was...
Did she had a daughter with you and she just stabbed
maybe, honestly, maybe. Who knows? What you call it?
Did you have one of her?
No. Because what happened was, because this is exactly how it went down. This person, I wasn't thinking we're gonna get married when I first met this girl. You know what I mean? I was just thinking about smashing. You know what I mean? I was gonna smash and blah blah blah. But we hang out, and then I start realizing who she is through conversation. But in my head, this is why our brains is crazy. In my head, I thought, you know, let me just not be super judgmental. Let me at least allow this. And then check this out: the Holy Spirit tells me she's not the one. How? I literally I'm sitting on my computer. She's laying on the bed. We're just chilling. And I heard, like, out of nowhere, like, she's not the one. And then out of this, the next thought, check this out. It wasn't even a thought. That's what I heard. And then the first thought was, nah, bro. Nah, you're just trying to psych yourself out from your previous relationship. So you're just not trying to give this a try.
That's her little devil talking on your shoulder.
Yo, but that's what was happening. That was what was just happening. And I was like, all right. So when I heard that she's not the one, God's voice, I doubted it with my own voice in my head. And then, of course, the enemy, or we call the devil, just took on with it. And then I heard it again, guys. Not the same day. Weeks later, maybe months later, I heard, like, she's not the one.
Were you?
And sure enough, I ignored it.
Were you on mushrooms?
See, I'm pretty sure if anybody's watching this and they might think that no, you know what I mean? But it's the truth. And this is what I heard, but I ignored it every time. Obviously, I found out that she wasn't the one, and then we're divorced.
Was she open about it, though, to you?
What?
Did she openly say, this is what I practice?
At first, it was a little dumbed down. You know what I mean?
It's just like,
but sure enough, she was open about it. And I was just trying to be super, like, understanding. Super, like, all right, you practice it, I'll do this. You know what I mean? But guess what ended up happening? I stopped going to church. I stopped doing this because I started somehow like leaning towards, like, what do you want to do? And what does she want to do? She want to go to the Santeria shops. She wanted to do these things, pray like this, you know, these little things, you know what I mean? That was totally against what
So
God.
logical.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I was thinking with the wrong, you know, parts of my body.
Did that bring you closer now to God?
Oh my Lord. I feel like I'm talking too much. But I'll give you a testimony real quick. I get divorced, right? And at this point, I'm at a low. We're talking about depressed. Like, I haven't been with God, you know what I mean? So we moved back from Texas, right? Which was a hell of a ride.
Wow, that was a story, because we had a whole going away party for him. He was moving to Texas.
I went to Texas. Check this out.
To start a new life.
Can I finish my story, or are you gonna finish it?
So there's hope Michelle may come back?
Yo, listen. Check this out. So I go down there. We think there's everything happened. Blah 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 blah. Come up craziness. I'm at a low. Jobless, homeless, crazy debt, carless, the whole shebang. This is early 2023, right? I get it in with God. I commit. At this point, I commit. I'm talking about, I was reading the Bible. I started fasting. I was praying a little bit. I definitely didn't masturbate. You know what I mean? Because that's like one of them men. So that is like the quick thing you could do to, like, while you're alone. You're alone. You know what I mean? So, I committed. And then I get one job. Then I get a second job. Then I get a phone call 3 months later that says, hey, we need someone to run for this position in the city. Your name came up. Would you consider it? Yes.
Opportunity started showing up.
This is all in a year, guys. I'm talking about, I saw my own life turn around like a miracle, because this all just fell right in place after I committed completely to God. And when I saw this stuff, I currently have a small business. This is from, I'm telling you, last year, a year and some change. I had nothing. Now I have a small business, money in my account. I had the 2 jobs. I'm doing the tax collectors. I'm the city sheriff. Like, what? You know what I mean? I went from all that for what I was. And when I committed my life to Christ, it all completely turned around. But it was definitely because my ex-wife and how that was involved with me. I completely understood that the spiritual world is real. What they do, if you believe in it and subscribe to it, and don't remember that you have that the creator of all actually loves you, and when you subscribe to it, that stuff does take effect. You start wearing the bracelets, even though I got a couple of bracelets on. You start wearing the bracelets. You start believing in the little trinkets that they give you. You start believing in these superstitions. And then what happens is you actually fall victim to them, because next thing you know, it's like these little rules, these superstitions they control you in a sense. Nah, I can't split the pole. I can't step on the crack. Nah, I shouldn't light a candle in the bathroom. You know what I mean? But it stinks. Right. Nah, bro, don't light the candle because it brings spirits in. And you're like, now there's certain things religiously you're not doing, or you're scared to do because of it going against whatever it is. And I serve a great God, man. I serve a great
on,
God
Cheers with
who's
the red
good.
cups, bro.
Cheers
Bro.
with the red cups to
Testimony,
that right
Come
there.
on.
change.
You know, but it's
We
the
all
truth.
I've been a witness to it, man. And
You saw my journey,
For sure,
bro.
bro.
And I'm watching God now. Oof.
Cheers.
I give another testimony, but I'm talking too much.
Wait, but I just want to hear what Fernanda
I
has
do
to ask
too.
us.
I do
don't
too.
know
I
if
do
you
too.
still-
I'm curious. I'm very curious.
I'm curious
Yeah,
what you
it's
had
a
to ask
shifting
us.
subjects question.
No, I mean, it's the same.
Get it in, girl.
All right, I'm going to ask you. It's a quick answer, so don't talk too much.
No testimony, Carlo.
No
You got
testimony.
5 words
All right,
to
go
answer
ahead.
this. So, is it possible for me to believe in God? And I don't know. You were like, oh, like, it's tricky. I feel like I'm believing in a different God than the God.
Spiritual world.
I don't know. I feel like I don't view you guys view it in like a very like.
And that's why spiritual world is very scary. Because you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
To me, there's one God, and that's that.
it's
Amen.
spiritual
I don't know.
world.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the spiritual world.
it's like
Spiritual is connecting with God.
Mm-mm.
No, there's more to it.
That's the world that I guess I like exorcism. To me, I'm
Yeah.
just like it
You're-
doesn't exist in my world.
right. I think because you're oblivious to what's out there,
But if it doesn't exist
it's kind
in
of
my
like what
world,
you're saying. It's things
does
that
it
you don't
exist?
understand, and
You're
you start.
practicing yoga.
What does
Right.
that
They
mean?
connect with spirits.
I
There's a
don't
spiritual world
this
in
is where,
yoga.
This is where I get triggered because what?
Interesting.
Well,
Tell me more
you don't have to. You don't have to feel triggered.
because that's
Tell
something
me
you
more,
heard
tell me
somewhere.
more.
No,
This is not,
yoga. There's a practice of spiritual world,
Okay,
and
fine.
it's not just yoga. It's Christianity. It's Hinduism. Like all these religions, all of these things that you're connecting to
Religions, okay.
something.
God.
You're triggering yourself.
I'm
I know.
not.
I think the trigger is
All
more that you're not
like
questioning her
psychedelics.
belief.
It's not even that because honestly, I believe in God, and that's final. Like that's at the.
But
end of
who
the
is
day,
God though? Who is
belief-
God?
God is God.
But what is that though? The universe?
No, God is. This is. I was raised
About the-
Catholic, so to me, God is some
Higher power.
higher power,
You're
and
Catholic,
I know
so
he.
yeah.
And like I say, he like it's a man. I don't know. I just know that he's there. I like he hooks me up in life, and when I say he,
Okay, but
it
when you're
hooks
but
me
when
up
you're
in life.
saying I say he like he's a man for Catholics, for Christians, we believe he is a man.
right,
Jesus.
To
So
me-
when you
Jesus.
say
Yeah, Jesus.
okay, but what I'm saying is like when
For
you
me,
say
he's a
Jesus.
That was
Right.
like kind of like sarcasm. You were like, oh, it's as if he's a man.
no,
Like,
no. I think what
No,
you're saying
but-
is because here's the thing. God could be a lot of different things
Mhm.
for a lot of different religions, right?
Mhm.
Because
Well, he is,
the
yeah.
Buddhism, they believe in a God.
Yeah.
It's not
They
the
be-
same God that we
No, they believe in
in.
multiple gods.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They believe in a thing that's called God or a person or whatever it is that's God. It's not the same God we believe in. So when you say whatever he is,
There is a higher power.
so then you don't believe in God, you believe in a higher power.
Catholics, God.
Who
You
knows?
believe in a creator.
You believe in a creator.
You believe like
I
This
believe something is looking out for me.
So it's not. So you're not believing in the
I don't-
Catholicism
You're
of it.
aimlessly looking at an aimless God. Like, a way I think I said that like in a really horrible way. But like, you don't have, and this is where I think the base and a guidance.
That's
is
religion,
important.
then, right? We're talking religion now.
Right. But there should be a base. Like, you can't just aimlessly look around, like being
In my heart, in my soul, I believe in a higher power. There's something
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a
that
high.
I pray
Yeah.
to at night
Yeah.
where I say, hey, listen,
Yep.
thank you for
I like
I
that.
swear to God.
Yeah, that's real.
I've had a terrible day or I've had a
But-
great day. I
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
Thank you so much for everything you're doing
my
for
coworker,
me.
she said to me, "I don't believe in God. I believe in a higher power." Because we were talking about religion, and she said, "I don't believe in God. I believe in a higher power. I pray to a higher power." Very different than what I believe in.
Would
But
you
then-
agree to that statement? Would you say that's the same difference?
No, I wouldn't separate them, I guess.
You're
To me-
separating them when you're saying, "I believe in a higher power," versus "I believe in God as a
Yeah.
He." That's separating them.
Okay.
Right, because I don't right. And this is where
Yeah.
the whole religion thing comes into play, which I have a hard time with because religion to me,
You're talking about a church.
I'm talking about religion. I'm talking about
Oh.
the way religion, like Buddhism, the way they say
Guidelines, the
it's
rules,
like
and
the,
that.
it's
Yeah.
a way, it's a he, like all these things to me, cool. You guys, I love it for you guys if it's working. But for me, like I don't
So you're not a Catholic anymore. You were raised a Catholic, you're stepping out of it now and you're looking to find out what it is that you believe in, not in what your mom believed in.
I'm not looking. Okay.
You're essentially looking when you're experiencing other things.
I will continue going to Catholic church. I was raised. It's what it's like. If
when you're going to Catholic church, are you going just because you were raised and you're trying to connect to the God there? Or are you going because it actually means something to you?
I'm more the first. I'm going because
like
it's
more traditional.
You go to a Brazilian Catholic church?
Brazilian Catholic church.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're going because you were raised in it.
But also when I pray, when it's that time where you get on your knees and you pray, I'm praying to my God.
No,
but you're praying to your God inside of a Catholic church.
No,
wait, hold on. But do you pray in the name of Jesus?
It don't matter. Well, that means.
Do you pray in the name of Jesus?
What is that?
When I start my prayer, eu falo Deus. Estou conversando com Deus.
Yeah, I say God.
Eu falo pouquinho.
But honestly,
thank you, God. As if you were like praying to a different God than the people in the Catholic Church.
No,
what I'm saying, it's like when they get in their knees, I pray to my God.
This goes back to I know what you mean. I know where you're at, and I know what you mean, because I think when it comes to spirituality, I think this is honest. I think we all come to a place where like, what's religion? What's spirituality? Who's God? What is God? Yes, we were raised Christianity, and myself, Jesus. But like, what does that mean to me? There's been times that I question God. Like, yo, is God really Jesus? Is he like? So I think like I'm at the place too where I'm like, yo, I need to be in connection with myself too, though. Like in a sense, like. And a connection with myself. And this is real talk though. Like I've been bred Jesus all my life, dude. But at the same time though, I'm like, right, is this really what it is? Or like, yo, is this really what I like believe in? Or is this really what it's like? So I feel like even to like people that are listening to this, like it's like we're all in this whole spiritual like,
but you know that.
But
I heard that before.
But
and
honestly though, it's just real talk. It's not because like I've been like, first of all, like, I need to be in tune with myself first. I'm not in tune with myself. Like, and I feel like that's one thing about spirituality that a lot of people are missing too. Whether you do yoga, for me right now, what I'm listening to is not even like, oh, what's the origin of yoga? What's this and this and this? And I'm thinking about what people are doing now with yoga, and it's trying to get in tune with themselves.
Well, right? That's what I'm saying. I think
so like we do a lot of stuff that in the Christianity and the hypocrisy that's like bad origin, and we still do it. Whether it's Halloween, right? Whether it's like all these
no, but what does it give it an excuse?
Easter.
But listen, I think the first original sin is what we're talking about right now. The first original sin where it was like Adam and Eve in the garden.
But you're referring right now to what your Christianity and what you are believing in, because that's not everyone else's beliefs though.
No, but are you kidding me? Many religions believe in Adam and Eve story.
But the Adam and Eve, that is the not everyone believes in the whole Christianity.
Yeah, a lot of them believe. Though. Like what do you think they believe, bro?
That is Christianity.
Not evolution. So that's science.
Muslims believe in Adam and Eve.
But that's
yes,
religion.
They do. Yes, 100%. They believe in Adam and Eve.
No, they believe that we were all born from Adam and Eve.
Yes, bro.
Or they would believe that Allah did the whole Adam and Eve thing, not God, not like.
No, in their head, they believe that we share the same. Because remember, the father of faith is Abraham. They all come down back to Abraham, who served the one true God. So, yeah, at the end of the day, they all believe in the Adam and Eve story.
At the end of the day, though, I feel like it's everyone's journey, though. Because, brother, there was a time in which I always say this, there was a time in which I started questioning the deity of Jesus.
That's why I said it's to go back to the original sin. Because the original sin, the snake comes and does what? Tricks her to eating the fruit for what? Good and evil, right? Because of what? She wanted it with more self, me. It was like, I want to know more because I already walk with God, but there's more out there and I want more. And so what happens is, even right now, today, as people are searching for more. They always want more, no matter what.
That's just human beings, right? Like,
well, why is it that we want more though?
I'm searching for less.
Thing.
No, because it's a God thing. It's this thing in us where we want to find this higher power, that we want to connect with something bigger and stronger than us. We want happiness. We want to be peace. And that's what it is. God put that in us so that we can search for him. I think what I'm like, yeah, it could be a feeling thing. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, every single one of us are going to be in our rocking chair if we don't find God if we don't, we're gonna be in our rocking chair thinking something's missing. It's because we never fulfilled that thing of connecting with the creator.
And that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm not in any specific, at this point in my life, I'm not in concrete in any religion of any. But at the end of the day, I feel very connected to God. I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
I believe you.
That's what
I believe you
matters,
do.
though, and I think that, yeah,
Dude.
I believe you do.
And
He
that's all
hooks
that matters.
me
you
up.
know,
There are
for
moments in
you.
my life
For
that
her,
he.
that's
for
all
her,
that matters.
though.
For her.
I mean, we can't go on and say, hey, okay, just because you believe that, I think it's wrong.
No, I don't
Because
think anybody's
that's
saying she's
our own
wrong.
personal belief. You gotta go. But what makes you feel at peace, despite what other people think? Because at the end of the day, it's you
Yeah.
and that journey with God.
I do think bringing it back to the point is just it again, like that spiritual world is dangerous if you don't know what you're looking for, or you don't understand what it is that you're seeking. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and I think that's where
portals,
that
portals,
I
yeah.
totally agree with
right. And so
that. You can't do this. You're a
I
Christian.
think
We'll go.
No, when we come
Ladies,
to-
I'm sorry. Do you guys? You can continue the conversation. I
Nah,
have
you
to use the
can't. You gotta
restroom.
hold it.
No. So no, spirituality is always gonna come. My mom
I bet
my
so,
mom used to always say this: when it comes to religion and politics, it's a never-ending conversation.
oh, absolutely.
It's a never-ending.
We could move on to the next.
conversation. It is a
Okay.
never-ending
Absolutely.
conversation.
Yeah.
She has a question for you.
Yeah. I'll answer in 2 seconds.
Okay. One, two. Okay. I was like, wait, don't ask me.
Hey, wait, 2.
You mentioned you did psychedelics.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand from your story. Was that I'm sure I'm thinking you don't do it anymore, but was that a positive experience for you because it showed you this vision of all the other whatever, or was that a negative experience for you?
But okay, people y'all gonna judge me, but for me, it was a very positive experience.
Why
I'm
would
not
we
gonna
judge
judge
you?
Shit.
It was a very
No, we're
positive
really judging.
experience.
Yeah.
It was
You
a
should
very
have had a horrible
the-
experience. You should have not had a
It
good
was a very
experience.
positive experience that I just felt, and this is where I'm always grateful to God. I don't know, because I felt like I experienced a different side of, like you were saying a little bit, like the spiritual world is. See, I have my own beliefs, but I feel like the spiritual world is not just tied to what I feel like I grew up to, God and Jesus. I feel like there is vast.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I do feel like with the psychedelics, when I was in that world, it was a dangerous world because where I started feeling that my mind was being. It was a great experience because I felt that I had an experience where like I was talking to a deity. This is just my own psychedelic, and this deity was talking to me where it just empowered me. Like it brought me to it broke my insecurities down. You know what I'm saying? But then, so that was my positive experience. At the same time, I started questioning where does Jesus fall into all of this? That was always my question. Where it started, it was positive. But then I was like, Jesus, where do you fall into this? That was, and I went to that experience where I'm like, man, I start questioning Jesus a little bit. I thought it was a positive experience. I think it was positive because it empowered me and it broke down a lot of insecurities. It made me feel that like I was able to relate to a whole different side.
Yeah.
For me, it was positive. But I think at the same time, it brought me back to Jesus because I felt like I had to make certain decisions.
Mhm.
Like, will I wander in this, or will I had to make certain decisions? But for me, it was positive, totally positive.
Cool.
But I think because you had the experience of the spiritual world before,
Yeah, exactly.
you kind of knew where you were going, as
Yeah.
opposed to someone who does psychedelics who's
Has
Yeah.
no idea what
doesn't have someone to guide them
Yeah.
in that moment,
Mm.
or has that
Yeah.
experience with the spiritual world
Yeah, exactly.
where
It's
you're
true.
gonna trip. And that's something that my brother was telling me, like
True.
people doing psychedelics. Oh yeah, we want to but has no experience,
Yeah,
no guidance.
It just
And it's
opens
like-
portals.
It opens- so
it's
you-
gonna open portals.
you're just
and-
doing
and
it out of
wherever you fit in
curiosity.
that-
Imagine that's your
Right.
first
So-
experience too. You're like,
So-
this is
Like
Yeah.
you're
true.
doing
This
it
is
out of curiosity, but
Yeah.
you have
Right.
no understanding or guidance.
Exactly.
like ayahuasca.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Ayahuasca's a
literally
big-
gonna say that.
Yeah.
And they have
Like
retreats
ayahuasca.
we have
I
retreats
wanted to do it for a long
but
time.
I've heard people that had great experiences that cured a lot of things, and I heard people that had negative experiences in opening portals
So
that,
I was
that
going
they
to
weren't
try
ready
it
for.
before. But now I know. Now I'm like, I don't know if I want to try that anymore because I understand the portals it opens up to for sure all these things. So the difference with me is that psychedelics, and I think this falls even some. There were some times in which there were some things that people wanted to do that it just came against my spirit. Like in this world, there was something that just came against it where I was like, I can't cross this, and if I cross this, I felt like I was gonna probably be lost in this, and so I stopped it. And I don't know if it's because of like my upbringing, but there was something that like stopped that I felt the battle where I was like, I can't cross this anymore because if I cross this, I'm never gonna go back. So it was these decisions I had to make, in the psychedelic
Humans
world.
are curious, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna share a quick story. If you want to miss
Please
it and use
don't.
the bathroom, you can.
Yeah, go use the bathroom, bro.
I'm not
Go
gonna
ahead.
miss it, but
Well, here, go to the back.
You've heard it. You were there, so you've heard it already.
No, you can't. No.
Oh, I did acid one time in my life,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's a strong
that's a psychedelic. One time,
Strong.
I did not know what I was doing. My friend was like, "Take 2." I'm
it's
like,
even
"Oh, I'm gonna
worse.
be crazy." I was young.
Oh, you wildin'.
It was a bad trip.
Yeah.
It was a bad
Bad
trip,
place, bad
and just to answer the question, it was such a bad trip that
Yeah.
for 70% of the time, I was
Yeah.
apologizing to God. I was like, God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'll never do this again. Like, get me out of here. I felt, but I was also, it was a bad trip, but it was a positive experience
Right.
because I've never done psychedelics since. Not that I have anything against it. I actually want to try shrooms.
Yeah, shrooms not acid is
Crazy. Only because the
Right.
and again, I don't portals and things like that to me in my world. It doesn't
do
exist.
you remember what you were?
Yeah, I do.
Because I remember you didn't recognize me.
Yeah. Oh my god. And so the bad trip was just I felt terrible.
Yeah.
My heart terrible. The aftermath, I could not believe that's what happened in my brain. Like I was like,
I know exactly.
I
how you
was-
feel.
She was standing
I
right
know
in front
exactly
of me,
what you went
and she
through.
was asking for me.
I was like, Danny, like, are you Daniele Novotli?
Yeah.
His name. Who?
Yeah,
like,
'cause
you
in
need to
your
tell
brain-
me you
I
know
felt
me.
lost. I
I
felt
know
like I was like, is
exactly
this
what you-
you? Like, and then once she like confirmed all my questions of like, your name
Exactly.
is this.
Yeah,
I
then she sat on the floor, grabbed my leg, and she was rocking it.
I literally could never.
You were in the middle of a rave.
Yeah,
I'm trying
I
to
know-
have fun
trust
here.
me, I
I
know
paid
all this.
$400 for a ticket. I'm trying to have fun. I'm
Listen,
pissed.
we know this
Yeah.
whole world very well.
It was
We've
scary,
experienced
and
it.
and
was
then
scary.
went away, and I was like, oh my god, thank God.
It went away with like what, an hour? Because
Yeah.
No, it's a scary.
I hugged your leg an hour, but like I was lost for like a good.
And the crazy part was that she said it. She said, she looked at me.
Yeah,
She said, I need to get lost. And I said, take your phone and whatever you do, call me. And I don't know where I got a phone call from her phone, but it's another girl. And she says
Yeah.
to me, I have a girl here and she's asking me to find Danny Navoli. And I'm like, that's me? And she's like, well, she's walking in circles looking for you. And I was like, okay, well, I'm standing right next to the
Yeah,
help flag.
yeah.
Can you get her to me? And I see this girl literally just walking in circles.
Yeah,
It was
no.
crazy.
And I was like, it's
And
me.
when- that part when I was walking in circles, that's all I was saying.
But that's
I'm
in your
so sorry,
acid
God.
trip?
Yeah.
So I tripped 5 times. Bad.
Yo,
Hallucinated
how many
bad.
times do you trip?
I have never tripped.
I
I have
tripped-
no. Let me.
I tripped 5 times.
I have never
bad.
tripped
Bad
in the
trips.
sense of like going
Terrible.
into an like I was always aware of where I was, what I was doing.
Bad
But I also
trips.
have never done psychedelics. I've done. I
What's
did the half, but that it didn't even hit me.
Bad trips.
The only other drug that I ever did was Molly. And
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just like the acceleration of my body, and I could feel
Yeah.
the music in my vessels. Like I could
No,
feel
I
I could
tripped.
feel the beat of the music just hitting every single aspect of my body.
yeah.
But it felt good. And I wanted to be alone. And I think that was where like when I used to go to raves, I wanted to be by myself,
Right,
just like
right.
literally. I didn't see a crowd. I didn't see anybody around me. It was just me, the DJ, and the music. And I
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
every single minute of it.
That's funny.
No, I
But that
tripped
was
like
it.
5 times.
But
bad.
what you trip on though?
So what I was doing in Colombia, because it was ecstasy and Tusi. I don't know if you guys
Tusi.
heard
The
of
hell's
Tusi.
Tusi?
The fuck is
But Tusi's
that?
a big
You guys are
drug
asking
in-
great bad questions.
So in
We're
Colombia,
not really drug addicts.
This is what Tusi. No, man.
Tusi's a big drug in Colombia, but
It's a huge
it's an amazing drug. Sorry, we're gonna end this part. But it's definitely with ecstasy. But ecstasy in Colombia is different than here. Colombia's drug is just a whole other world.
We know.
You know what I'm saying? So it opens up your portals to, and mind you, this was like 2-3 years already. So the first time trip, but then I started learning how to take it. You're learning like how much to take and how you're gonna trip.
Dang, you had a bad trip and you did it again?
I had 5 bad trips.
Dang.
And one of them trips, he was there. We were in
You
the
ain't no
festival, the
quitter.
rave festival. And he already knew me. So one time, like he grabbed me, he's like, I'm with you. And in that trip, it was like it was a trip, but like the whole hallucination, it was really real.
That's crazy.
So, by accident though, I did it once and I will never do it again because it will open up your portals even worse that you may not even come back. Because the friend that really tripped out,
He did
he took
acid.
acid gotas, like drops.
Yeah, no, ours was
And
like
that's
the
you don't
little
do.
paper, I think.
So I did
Oh,
the paper, but he did the drops even worse. There was so I learned that there were some certain things that I will not take. That I was like, nah, this is gonna take me there where I don't want to trip.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, the spiritual world is something real dangerous. But I think now where I'm in, this is why I'm always grateful for my wife because I feel like she saved me from all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why when I met her, like she grounded me from all of that world, you know, that I was in. And so now, you know, now where I'm here now, it's just so I used to want to do ayahuasca. I don't want to do it no more because I feel like I don't want to open up portals no more because I already done it. I already know what to expect. You know, so the difference between psychedelics and Jesus and religion is one word: it's peace. It's the peace that you feel. That's the difference for me.
You don't feel that anywhere
In
else.
psychedelics, you know, you're in this hallucination and it's amazing, but you're in these drugs. It's not good for your body.
Right.
But when you're with God, you feel this peace where you don't have to take anything.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's the difference. Where I started realizing, okay, you know what? With God, with Jesus, I don't have to take certain things to open up these portals. I feel this peace. Where that was the difference for me. Where am I now in life?
Where's
I'm
the offering bucket at? Let me put it like a $2.
Right there.
Hey, baby, put your offering right here in this little
The
smooth
offering
bottle.
bucket.
That's funny. Yeah, no,
Where's the bucket at?
I don't think.
No,
I think
but-
now I would never
but-
do any kind of drugs
like-
ever again.
I was really sucked into it where I really felt that, I'm telling you, I felt that I was a shaman because I had encounters with other people that they were going through spiritual things and I was guiding them. Even in the psychedelics world, like, hey, don't do this too much. You're going to trip. Enjoy your spiritual. Like, I felt like a shaman, in these. It was a really I was definitely in a deep world where I felt like I was starting to not believe in Jesus. So I kind of had to get out of it because I was at the end of the day, I feel that I had to get back to my root where I'm like, yo.
And now look at you, a married man here with us doing a podcast.
I think Michelle has a perfect question for this
Cheers to that.
Oh yeah.
transition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well then.
Welcome back, Michelle.
Michelle's the one that never did drugs in her life, so she's like, you relate to none of you.
Don't do drugs.
Great.
Don't do
great,
drugs.
great
We don't
job.
do that anymore, guys.
So,
We're all
listeners,
sober.
now you know. Don't do this shit.
No.
Little kids, you shouldn't even
No,
listen
no,
to this
no.
podcast.
No.
But okay.
We're going to edit all this out.
Curse.
All this Tusi talk, we're going to edit all this shit out. Just kidding.
What would you name this chapter in your life?
Yeah, Robbie.
What would I
Or
name this?
Rick. I talked a
Oh
lot.
wow.
Question, but
What would I name this?
What would
chapter
you
of my
name
life?
this chapter?
I might
of
make a whole
your life.
song
Wow.
for
That's a
mine.
good question.
That's a great question.
While Robbie thinks, why don't you tell us your answer, Michelle?
Oh, me? Oh, well then. Welcome back, Michelle.
Yeah.
Wow.
What would you name
Uh,
this? What is it?
Chapter.
This
Chapter
chapter.
of your
This
life.
chapter of your life.
God's got me.
Is that the chapter?
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Guys got me.
God's
Yeah.
got me. So, it doesn't change. It doesn't change.
Chapter 9, God got me. Oh, chapter 10 gonna be crazy. God's got me.
Yeah.
He still got me. Yeah. He's getting me.
He got me again.
Michelle's book is all the stories of how God's got her.
Yo, for
Every
real.
chapter.
Hey,
Amen to that.
I
though.
I think
respect
for
that.
me, mine is growth.
Growth.
This
chapter of my
chapter's-
life, like
go.
growth.
What do you mean?
Uh-uh.
Expand on that though. What do you mean growth in what? Like
Growth because I have achieved everything that I wanted. I'm gonna say 10 years ago.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes, so that's answer.
AK, we got 5.
We basically where I thought I wanted to be 10 years ago is where I am. But now I'm working on like, okay, what do I do now?
Mhm.
What do I do next? Like,
Just-
am I happy?
Yeah.
Is this where I want to be? Like where
Yeah.
like profession wise, relationship wise, mother wise, like where do I want to go? So I think I'm working on myself to understand me and where I am because I realized that we're never satisfied. Even like this is what I wanted, it's still not enough.
Mm.
Yeah.
I still want more.
That's real.
I would say it's I would say be patient.
Patient.
Be patient.
Patient.
That would be the name. Be patient.
Be patient.
You know what I mean?
I think the stage I am, right? You said or
Chapter.
The chapter.
Oh, the
name,
chapter
The
is-
chapter of your life.
You are
right now.
35, motherfucker. That is the chapter of my life right now. I feel like honestly, dude, I'm 35. Like I'm not this little, like I'm not a little kid anymore.
I'm all grown up.
I'm grown.
You are, bro.
And I can't make these decisions I've been making. I just can't. Like this traveling every 6 weeks, every 2 months to Colombia, living a life that's like, just living a very like
Irresponsible.
and responsible life. I would feel like, honestly. I mean, the good thing is that my daughter's good, and that's always been my like, you know, and a lot of that has to do with me being spoiled too, though, by my mom and my brother, and like just being real spoiled. But I'm like, yo, I'm 35, like, and I keep thinking to myself, I'm 25, and I'm just not. I'm 20 fucking.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't feel like you're in your
Like,
30s.
I'm like, dude, I'm 35. I can't like, and it's like, dude, I can't. Like, I have to start like. Just stop doing what I was doing when I was 25 because I'm not 25 no more. So that's kind of where I'm at, honestly. And my brother used to always tell me, he was like, yo, watch, bro, when you turn 35, shit's going to start going downhill, right?
That's
like,
when it goes uphill, guys.
No, in a sense, we're like,
It's the beginning.
he's like,
because
well,
if you
you-
keep doing what you're doing
No, he's
now,
like, yo,
I'm talking
He's like, yo,
about
you're gonna-
physically.
like, you're going to start getting gray hair.
Oh, yeah.
And you're right here.
Aging.
He was like, bro, you're going to like start having like these back pains. Like, you're not going to like,
You don't
every
feel
time
them
anytime you drink, like, you're going to like start like, the next day, you're
You
going to
need
start
to
feeling like
these
you're
to
going to
recover.
Guys,
We're gonna feel
wait,
35.
can I just
Yeah.
to piggyback off that? A quote that I heard in a show, forgot the show, sorry. It said this: 40 years old is when life begins. Every
I like
year
that.
before that was just research.
Oof. That's dope.
Hey,
That's
all the
true.
things you've
Hey.
learned so far.
Hey, you see?
That's-
I
yeah,
love
keep
that.
enabling him.
I like that. That's adorable. That's very adorable.
That
Yeah.
was a show. Let's remind ourselves that was a show.
Ricardo said the best time of a man's life is that it's 40.
Yeah, well,
The
I
prime
think that we
of a
hit our
man's-
peak.
What is the
You've
prime?
learned
what is-
everything there's
Oh,
to
my-
learn. Now you live your life.
Go ahead.
All right,
Have
so,
you
all right, so for me, I think this what was your question?
What's
Chapter.
the name of the chapter?
Honestly, I
chapter
think
of
this
your
chapter for me is one word: business.
Hey,
I feel like I'm in this
I thought you were
business.
gonna say marriage.
dang,
That too.
that's,
I mean, yeah,
that was. That's,
but yeah, of
That was
course, that's
great.
always.
did
but I
you,
think
did you
business-
just get? Is this a new thing? Marriage? You just got married
I
recently?
say it's new.
No, like
How long have you
2
been
years
married?
ago.
That was his chapter 2 years
Oh,
ago.
yeah,
Nah, right now it's business, bro. I really feel
He's
so.
already been
Even
married.
right, even with this.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Oh, time out. What we didn't do, can we just raise our cheers to the new
Space.
the new
The new space,
new
bro. This is
space,
this
bro. We didn't mention it at all. This whole
Is this
10
a
minutes
video?
we all been speaking.
Fact.
But so cheers.
Because we're not
Wait.
biased, really cool space.
This is
Is this a video
cheers,
really
all
quick?
y'all.
Cheers.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
Just a quick video.
Why not
really
do a
quick?
quick
Yeah,
video?
Make a quick
All right.
video.
Because we're breaking the ice.
Hold on, wait.
We're
wait.
cutting the ribbon.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just complicated. You know what I mean?
We're honored to be cutting ribbons.
This is it, yo.
We
You guys.
Thank you guys
Yes.
for being the first
Cheers.
The first.
guest
Yes.
on the new Tax Collector Studio. Hope to do this again
Yes.
in
Pew,
the
pew, pew,
future.
pew.
You guys,
Please
are
invite us
great.
again.
No,
Awesome.
and then we go always talk more. You know, this space is. You guys,
Yeah.
you know, whenever you guys want to do stuff, you guys can use this space. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I don't see why y'all wouldn't.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
You
just
know?
saying.
I don't
You
see
know?
why y'all wouldn't. It's downtown. Like, you kidding me? The
No,
bus
we-
line?
You know, we
Oh.
trust me.
The
this is,
bus lines.
Yo, Fernando,
The bus
what's your name
line.
this chapter in your life right now?
Oh
yoga.
no. Actually, this is I do
Spiritual
this
worlds.
every year for my birthday. So this is basically my chapter 29, and this was called Resistance. This chapter, it's almost done. So I've been feeling a lot of resistance towards like a lot of things in life.
Mm-hmm.
When is your
Like our opinions.
Business, dating, your opinions. That's right. Chapter 30. I'm
Wait,
very
you're turning
excited
30
for it.
this year?
Yeah, August.
Nice.
Man, you're getting old.
I know.
Okay. We were just talking about this. Like, go ahead.
Fine.
Go ahead.
So
I don't mind
30 and
aging.
above crew over here.
Ready? So I'm very excited about this chapter. You guys gotta hold me accountable.
What's the name?
Chapter 30. Soft girl era.
soft girl?
This whole, you hear these people? She wants to be soft in her 30s.
She wants us to hold her accountable.
I'm not
What?
even gonna be here, so.
That means that I'm the only one
Yeah, well, you need to be held accountable.
Who, me?
No, I'm joking. You're not going to be here.
About what?
You don't have friends down there. Who's going to keep you accountable? They're not.
No, we're done.
Ain't nobody needs to hold me accountable. I don't
She's
Maybe
perfect.
you can.
Remember,
Maybe
she's
your
a-
husband. You could have
she's
said
a-
your husband.
Lord.
The Lord.
No,
We got it.
because he got you.
Yep.
All the
Nice, I
time.
like that. Soft girls. That's
And all the time.
I like that soft girl
No,
era.
it's funny because
you're in your rough girl era, right? That's why you was just saying.
I wouldn't say it like that. No, you asked about masculinity and, you know, masculine side for the past, I would say, like, just co-parenting and all that. I've always kind of only child. I've always felt like I had to do things on my own my
Yeah.
whole life. So I've built this very much like I don't need anybody. I do it by I can do it on my own kind of persona. And I'm like, that's getting old. Like, I'm just tired of it. I'm like, I
Right. It
want
is
to
tiring.
like,
That's tiring. It has to be
you
tiring.
know, I don't want to be this, like, I could be alone forever and I'm cool with that too. But I want to open
You don't
more.
want to keep raising that flag all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to be soft. So that's my 30th.
Want to let
I'm
somebody rub your feet
excited.
sometime.
You-
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Okay.
I applaud any girl that wants to be in their feminine.
Why?
You can't.
Cook, they're gonna clean, they're gonna wash his clothes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Guys, talking about washing clothes. I spent 2.5 hours today washing clothes.
Find yourself a woman
Oh.
to wash his clothes.
All right, what's
I did.
They're not in their
Thank
feminine
God.
side though. They're not in their soft girl
I ain't gonna
side.
lie. My wife was
Ew.
washing my clothes the other day, and I looked at her and I was like, "Yo, I'm just grateful."
wow?
Problem is that we live on the third floor right now, and that freaking washer dryer is in the
All the way in
basement.
the bottom.
You know?
Damn.
I mean, I can't be
Lord,
going, I can't be
grateful.
going down. To the
I'll be
third
grateful,
floor.
too.
I'm grateful that my man does his laundry.
Sure, I tried to. No, I usually do it, but she was doing. it.
You
I was
know,
like,
we
"Oh,
don't
I'm
have enough
grateful."
time for that conversation.
Wait.
I'm grateful that he does his own laundry.
Would you guys hold on, we would leave.
Bro,
Would you guys let another girl do your man's laundry?
Everybody did it.
Why? What?
What girl's gonna be doing the laundry?
Oh yeah, huh? I guess not.
Wait,
You would be upset.
Hold on.
Would you guys be okay with another
Everybody did
girl
their,
cooking for your man?
No. Unless it's his mom, unless it's his mother.
Am I gonna be fed too?
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Oh, then no.
For behind this question?
Yeah.
Huh?
What's
the reason
cooking
you
for
want
you?
this-
Well, because we want to thank everybody for joining us here at the Tax Collectors
Yes.
right now. Like,
It
you
was
guys
dope.
have
It
been
was
great for
real.
sitting through this whole thing with us.
Yes.
Make sure you guys subscribe
Hey,
to.
subscribe to.
Wait,
It's
you know what? I'm a little upset though.
Complicated.
Before we leave, we never even got asked a question that I really at least thought we were gonna get asked.
Which one? Which
What's
one?
complicated in your
Oh
life?
my gosh, what's going on? What's so complicated? You guys are not even on us.
This episode.
It's just complicated.
Bye, guys. Bye.
It's
Yo,
just
Bye.
peace out.
Bye.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
Subscribe to It's Just Complicated. Show them love. And if you guys like Ricardo, subscribe to
Hey,
the
yo,
Task
don't-
Collectors.